Hello, 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 and welcome back to In My Business, the podcast where we talk about the highs, the lows, and today the side quest of entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Dr. Tiff, and today's topic is going to be about something a little different, but very necessary, and that's hobbies. Yeah, I really do want to talk about your hobbies. Because listen, if running a business was the only thing that I did, I would not have any hair right now. I'd be bald. Seriously. Because stress is stressful and it will strip you down to nothing if you don't have something else in your life that keeps you grounded. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my business. I love my business. But entrepreneurship will consume every ounce of your mental energy if you don't have something else that is feeding into your soul and making you happy and bringing you joy. And for me, that's been two very different but equally therapeutic hobbies. And that's gardening and decorating. Decorating my house. I'll say that. And both have taught me more about business and life than business and life. Seriously, it has. And I have learned so much. I'll share some of those lessons in just a sec. So here's what happens when you don't have hobbies. Let me break this down. Your brain gets stuck in this endless loop of business problems. You wake up and you're thinking about cash flow. You shower and you're thinking about marketing strategies. You try to fall asleep and you're going over in your head what you have to do tomorrow. Your brain literally doesn't get a break. It's always in this work mode. But if you have a hobby, that flips a different switch in your brain. And it activates what psychologists call divergent thinking. And divergent thinking is basically when your mind wanders, it makes these connections that it wouldn't normally make. For instance, some of my best business ideas have come to me while I was hands deep in dirt or debating whether an accessory tied together with a certain room. It has just come to me, but without me even trying to think about it. And plus, having a hobby, it gives you something that I call completion satisfaction. Think about it. Most projects take weeks or months, sometimes years to see those results. If you launch a marketing campaign, you have to wait to see if it's successful. If you implement a new system, you just have to wait and hope that it works and hope that it makes everything more efficient. But if you like to garden like me, you can plant a seed and sometimes it takes just weeks to sprout up. You can see it. If you paint a room or redecorate a room, then that can be done in a day. And that's instant gratification. That instant gratification is good. It actually helps to reset your patience meter and it creates a balance. So while you're waiting on progress and success in the business, you're doing something that's giving you that instant gratification. I'll also say that having a hobby actually makes you more interesting. It gives you another point of connection with other people. Because it's important to know that people connect with people and not just business owners. And some of my best conversations that I've had with customers have been around some of my hobbies. And we've shared gardening tips. And, they come back to check to see how it's going. And I'll ask them whenever I see them how their garden is going. It's just an extra point of connection. So let me say this about gardening. I did not go into it thinking that I would be this Martha Stewart of gardening. No, not at all. I really just wanted to plant a few things. I wanted to feel proud. And growing up, my mom always had this green thumb. And I've always admired that about her. I've tried over the years to just learn how to keep a plant alive. And it has just been something that has blossomed. So I saw a video where you can do the gardening in a bucket, and I decided they don't take up a lot of space, and I could go ahead and create my garden in these buckets. And so that's exactly what I did. I got everything together, found out what I wanted to plant, and then I put them in these buckets. Okay, so let me tell you about my garden. This summer, I planted cilantro, rosemary, basil, mint, spinach, zucchini, cucumber, tomato, chickpeas, green peppers, jalapeno peppers, and avocado. I think that's it. Let me tell you how they all went, and this is hilarious. So my peppers, the jalapeno peppers, they are thriving. They are just growing. Every time I pick it, it just gives me something else. It's just great. The rosemary is dependable. It's solid. It's strong. It is just amazing to me, and I love the smell. The mint is taking over everything, like it's paying rent. It's wild, but it's beautiful. And every time, again, I pick it, it produces. The basil is beautiful. It's the star of the show. It's the leaves are just so lush and green. The cilantro, RIP. It didn't make it. It said no. It didn't even try it. I had a starter plant for the cilantro, and maybe it was a bad starter plant or something. When I planted it just drooped, and it never even did anything for me. The tomatoes, they are holding on strong. I planted the cherry tomatoes, so the real small tomatoes, and again, every time I pick, it gives me something else. The spinach, it gave me one harvest, and then it said, I'm out. I'm done. Nothing. And that one harvest, it was just good. It was so nice to see all of this spinach everywhere, but it never produced again after that, no matter what I did. The zucchini is zucchinian. It gave me one, but it blossomed so beautifully. And the cucumber blossomed, and I really thought it was gonna produce, but it never produced a single thing. Not one. Not even a little bud. Never, ever. It gave me this beautiful blossom, and that's it. The avocado is going to take a long time, but from the avocado seed, it is sprouting up, and it looks so good. And I know that I won't have an avocado for years to come, but watching that sprout up from just the seed of an avocado that we made guacamole from, it was so, so satisfying. Like, seriously. But I will say that going back to this cucumber, I was so frustrated with this cucumber because I just really thought it was going to produce. I really did. And it didn't. It didn't. I watered it. I moved it around, made sure that it was getting enough sunlight or not too much sunlight, or, I put compost in the soil. I really did. I touched it. I talked to it, and it just never produced. And then it made me realize something. Gardening this year has really made me realize something. It's literally life in slow motion. Like, gardening is life in slow motion. I mean, think about it. It teaches patience, acceptance, and the fact that things just don't always go the way that you plan them to go. Even if you have everything in place and you set up all these conditions. And it's the same way with entrepreneurship. You can do everything right. You can do that marketing campaign. You can go out and network. You can provide great service, and still you got that one customer that doesn't stick. They don't come back. Or you got a campaign that just didn't take off the way that you thought it would take off, and you've invested all of this money into it. And gardening, it reminded me that that doesn't mean that it's a failure. It's not always a failure. Sometimes it's just not time or the season. Sometimes it's just not the season. I planted chickpeas. I forgot to say, they never produced anything at all, but it wasn't the season. And, when I go back to my print shop after dealing with my garden and after being disappointed and frustrated with that cucumber that just didn't cooperate, it has been easier for me to handle customers who don't cooperate. You see, same skill set. Honestly, it's the same thing. Like a potential customer could be a beautiful potential customer, and you can get all excited about this possible transaction with them and working with them. And you can start imagining all of the beautiful things that you guys are going to do together and building this relationship. And then they decide that it's no longer, a good fit for them, or they decide to not do business with you. That's how I think about that cucumber. All of the conditions were in place and the excitement was there. I knew what I was going to make from it. I knew exactly what I was going to do. And it just never happened. Now, let's talk about my other hobby, and that's decorating. I have really come to understand this hobby of mine over the last couple of years. I've always liked doing it. I never really understood how it connected to this larger plan. My house has always been my canvas. I change paint colors. I swap, furniture around. I don't buy a lot of different things or different pieces. I just move things around so that the room looks and feels different. Same stuff in it most of the time, but just moved a different way to create a different type of feel. And I've always done that. And I feel like now I'm learning, I'm understanding why. Because when business gets overwhelming, when things become uncertain, and I feel like I've done everything right, but I still don't know what's going to happen, and things are still up in the air, that's when I tend to want to decorate. And I've come to realize that it's because it's the one thing that I can't control. That's really it. I can't force customers to say yes to print services, but I can choose a new flow for my space and get an instant mood boost from that. That's literally what happened. And here's the kicker. It resets my brain for business because it's problem solving just in a different way. Both require creativity, they require vision, they require execution, right? You have to do it. Can't just sit there and think about it. But one is lower stakes. One is more fun. I can move a picture and put it on a different wall. That's low stakes. And it's a stress reliever. That's a serotonin boost. Like, seriously. I walk through the house and I'm like, yep, I did that. I redecorated that room. I made it open up, or I made it shrink a little bit more. I made it more intimate, or I made it more vibrant. And I know some of you all are listening like, Dr. Tiff, my stress relief is Netflix and chill or wine down with some wine. And listen, I'm not mad at that. I'm not judging. Whatever your hobby is, that's your hobby. I would challenge you to try a little decorating project. Start small. I mean, don't knock it until you've rearranged the room and suddenly everything just feels better. Or you change the whole color in your bedroom to something completely different. And now that room just feels like a different space, almost like you moved into a different home. I love it. That's the best part for me. I will also say about decorating with the control thing. My therapist and I have talked through this, and I have come to know this recently, that it is the way that I can control things when I feel like I can't control something else in my business. Now, let me be clear. I don't come home every day moving stuff around. That's not what I do. Maybe a couple times this year already, I have redecorated a space. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can actually see one of my most recent decorating projects. I have redecorated my flow space. It's the space where I come to do these podcasts, and I decided to create a completely different vibe, create a different flow, which is why I call it my flow space. And I am really happy with how it is turning out. Not completely finished with it yet, and that's okay. It's not a rush, but it is something that I feel very proud of. It's one of the reasons why I love decorating, because it is something that I do get that instant gratification from, and it really, really does help me when I go back to run my business. So let me talk about what these hobbies have taught me. And hopefully you're thinking about what your hobbies have taught you. So gardening has taught me patience. You don't control everything. You nurture, you wait, and you accept that not everything will bear fruit, like those cucumbers. But it's the same as business. And then with decorating is the control for me. And it's okay to find things that you can control when business feels chaotic, because that creates balance. But both of them together for me, it's creativity and it's resilience. So whether it's nurturing the plants or redesigning a space, I'm reminding myself that I can create, that I can make it, I can change it, I can adapt, all of those things. And for me, that's really important, and that matters. Entrepreneurs often burn themselves out. Many entrepreneurs make their entire identity about the business. But you need something that's not tied to revenue, something that's not tied to customers. You need something that is just for you. And listen, I wouldn't be me if I didn't tie it back to what I do, and that's printing. So here's the thing. Hobbies and business actually overlap more than you think. The same joy that I get from seeing my basil sprout or transforming my bedroom is also what I get when I see a customer's business card design come to life. They've given us an image scribbled on a piece of paper, and then we can make that come to life. Or how producing a banner makes a customer's face light up because it looks even better than what they've imagined at their actual event. And that's my version of harvest season. So here's my encouragement for you. I want you to find your outlet. It doesn't have to be gardening or decorating. It could be cooking or running or even Netflix and chill. It could be binge watching, whatever show you watch or whatever app you watch it on. Find that thing that helps you recharge and feel like yourself again. Because business is demanding and it's going to take everything from you as long as you continue to give it everything. I want you to think about your mental health. I want you to think about your creativity. Think about protecting your joy. All of those things are worth protecting. For me, gardening and decorating, they're not just hobbies. They are hobbies, but they're not just hobbies. They're lifelines for me. And I can move over into doing something else. So gardening may not be the thing that I always do. It'll be another thing or another thing. But those two things right now remind me that growth, it takes time. And control isn't necessarily a bad thing when you use it to create beauty in your life. And that's what I do with decorating. So go ahead, plant that basil, plant that rosemary, paint that wall if you need to paint the wall. Buy the accent pillows if you feel like it'll make things look better in your space. And remember, if you need something printed, or if you maybe want to put labels on your homemade salsa from your garden, come see me at PostNet. And we'll make sure that your print game blooms right along with everything else that you're working on. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, I want you to keep tending to your garden, whatever that is. Keep decorating your space if that's your thing, and keep building your business. You can follow me on social media at Dr. Tiff's Community. So if you're listening to me on a podcast and watch me on YouTube and you can actually see my flow space as it comes to life, I look forward to hearing about your hobbies and what they are and what they have done for you. And more importantly, what lessons you have learned that you can connect back to your business. Until next time, entrepreneurs.